No Amber Alert, no breaking bulletin, just a vague statement. And then, silence. The system blinked, and somewhere between the headlines and the hush, the truth was buried deep. The press moved on, the posters faded, and the story everyone thought they heard, it was never the real one. I wasn't assigned to the Sullivan case. In fact, I was told explicitly not to touch it. But when the silence got louder than the facts, I stopped listening, and I started digging. If you believe Lilly and Jack deserve more than silence, more than a forgotten headline, then this is where you stay. Subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. We're building a community that doesn't walk away. Help us get 1,000 subscribers, and every voice counts, including yours. So if you're watching this right now, you're already part of the investigation. Official sources say the children likely wandered away on foot into dense woodland. The sliding back door at their house was reportedly silent. When their parents awoke, the children were gone. A vulnerable persons alert was issued later the same day. No Amber Alert was issued. Within days, search teams, more than 160 volunteers, RCMP, drones, helicopters, and dogs scoured about 4 to 5.5 square kilometers of heavily wooded terrain. By May 7th, search efforts were scaled back. As officials stated, the odds of survival were very low due to age, time gone, and weather. They insisted the investigation stayed active. Meanwhile, conflicting statements began to emerge. Witnesses said they saw Lilly and Jack in public with family members on May 1st, the day prior. School records confirmed the kids missed several days of school, including April 30th and May 1st. In total, 54 people have been formally interviewed, and some underwent polygraph testing. The number of tips received has climbed, first 180. Later, over 488 tips followed up. Multiple RCMP units are involved, including major crime, digital forensics, truth verification, and criminal analysis. Agencies like the Canadian Centre for Child Protection and the National Missing Persons Centre are also assisting. The photo of Lilly and Jack, Lilly with a missing front tooth, Jack with his hand protectively resting on her shoulder, has become their silence turned visual. That photograph became my obsession, not because I was assigned to this investigation, but because almost no one else seemed to be looking. As the search unfolded, inconsistencies began to emerge in the official narrative. Some public updates suggested Lilly and Jack may have wandered east toward wooded trails. Others hinted westward toward the roadside. It was never clear. The story shifted strand by strand until nothing was anchored in fact. The timeline from their parents remained vague. One moment, the children were inside at breakfast. The next, gone without explanation. Their stepfather's account quietly changed over time, from the children walking outside to them possibly exiting through the sliding back door. But the precise sequence, when, how, which direction, was never fully clarified. Then there was the bridge, an old, decaying structure just beyond the official search grid, a piece of terrain that, according to official maps, didn't exist. It became a symbol that some areas, even in a case like this, are allowed to stay hidden. The RCMP claimed they reviewed hundreds of hours of trail cam footage from the area, but the files were described as inconclusive. Several frames were missing, timestamps crossed out, and one crucial camera didn't record at all. Convenient perhaps, but not explained. If the system says no evidence and removes the evidence itself, that isn't procedural error, that's disappearance by design. It felt like someone systematically erased the map while the search was still underway. As public records continued to dry up, I started following the unmarked terrain, the places no press release dared name. I arrived at what locals whispered about quietly, an old wooden bridge, just beyond the grid of the official search map. Beneath the moss-choked earth, I discovered something unexpected. A metallic star sticker, half buried, its silver surface tarnished by time and soil. In the perfect place for a child to drop something small, and suspiciously out of place where official searchers never recorded a thing. Hypothetical symbol, not documented by police. Nearby, tire grooves cut through the dirt light. Passenger vehicle tread pressed into the soft soil and left behind. Tracks that didn't match search team vehicles, never logged in the official report. Also speculative. Then there was a ping, a lone cell signal, from a device registered to a child in the family, recorded near that bridge on the morning of May 2nd. No police summary ever mentioned it, but coordinated review of GPS logs I obtained showed the coordinate matched where I found that sticker, hypothetical channel access. After weeks of stretching beyond official boundaries, I arranged a meeting off the books with a veteran RCMP source. He confirmed something quietly but firmly. The trail cam footage was edited, sequences missing, timestamps removed, frames deleted, and he said those decisions didn't come from the ground. Pressure from above, he whispered. They made us manage the narrative, not the case. Then came the quietest sentence I heard. This wasn't about what we didn't know. It was about what we weren't allowed to say. As I dug deeper into courthouse records, social service referrals, and school logs, I began to see a troubling pattern: institutional denial. Over time, several reports were made about Jack exhibiting unexplained bruising and emotional withdrawal. There are notations of a black eye, significant fatigue at school, and sudden behavioral changes. Yet each case was closed by the Department of Community Services. No investigation, no follow-up, speculative reconstruction, no public CPS records available. Prior to the disappearance, Daniel Martel, Jack and Lilly's stepfather, was the subject of a historical abuse filing by a previous partner. That case was closed with no charges filed. Again, gaps that remain unexplained, based on reporting norms of past abuse disclosures, publicly unverified in this case. Meanwhile, the children's mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, submits to public attention, once speaking at the press conference and then retreats into silence. I've worked enough cases to know grief doesn't disappear overnight, but silence? That's something else. When families choose silence too soon and systems close files before resolution, that silence becomes complicit. Every redacted file, every deleted folder, every no record found answer starts to feel like a coordinated erasure. In this line of work, some cases don't just haunt your nights, they invade your soul. I thought of Sierra, 8 years old, disappeared from a similar neighborhood years ago. Her only trace, a green backpack with a torn strap, found abandoned near a dried-up creek bed. That image burned in my mind as I sat in my basement office. Photos of Lilly, Jack, and Sierra pinned to the wall, whispering their names into the quiet night. The weight was almost unbearable until I realized this time, the silence isn't going to win. I pulled out a sticky note, and with trembling hands, I wrote, "This time I don't stop. I don't need a badge to ask the right questions, but I do need a community that refuses to forget. If you believe Lilly and Jack deserve more than silence, share their story. Follow this investigation as it unfolds, because pressure keeps the truth alive. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, not just for updates, but to stand with all those forgotten by a system that too often looks away. They were just kids, and someone made sure we'd never find out what really happened. Let's make sure that someone doesn't win."